All right, welcome back to another evening with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I am SirLucien on the SirLucien channel, and we're going to jump right in. We have our players here tonight, finally, after a 2-week hiatus, and we're going to bring a new player in also, which you can see here in the overlay, so you can kind of get a chance to see who we got. So we got Tom, Logan, Cedric, Bodoff, and Pelly all playing their characters. Or bringing their new character in, and we'll see how it goes. So since it's been 2 weeks, let's do a quick recap where we were last time we all met. We were moving down a hallway, checking some rooms, and you stumbled upon a kitchen that had some old ladies in it making food. You quickly kind of continued on from there, and you went down to what seemed to be like this much bigger room that had furniture the size of a giant in it. And then half of the group thought, no, maybe we should go back, and I don't even know what you were going to do. I don't know if you were going to talk to the cooks or if you were going to ask them questions, but half of the group goes back to interact in some way with the cooks, and Alberic stayed in the room just to check it out before he left, and was quickly attacked by some dire wolves that looked like rugs on the floor, but then jumped up and attacked him. The two cooks weren't cooks, they were actual hags, and they attacked our players as a big brawl starts out in this hallway, and it draws ogres, and it draws gnolls, and it draws norkers, and we've got insect swarms, and we've got kind of like an inky smoke cloud going on. Spells are happening, potions are drank, abilities are used. Everybody probably uses everything they have spell wise. There might even been some people who missed some death save rolls they thought they were saving for. I did do that on purpose. If you go back and you watch that video, I wanted you guys to make death save rolls because I didn't want to let on that they were trying to knock you out to capture you. Because if I just say you're unconscious, you might think you might unravel my plan. But they captured him, drug him into some cells, chained him up on a wall, and that's where we're going to begin tonight's exciting episode of Adventures in Jail Cells. So this should be pretty fun. We'll meet our characters, some of our characters when we get into them. We'll meet some of the new characters when that happens, but we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. And the opening scene for tonight's session, I see Danimal's already in our chat, so he'll be there to help us with rules and keep us straight. So it's good to see him. He's our Australian DM on, when do we play that? Wednesday nights? I get my nights confused. Wednesday nights. Tomb of Annihilation, so you can check that out too. So camera comes in, fades into the Black Pyramid, big rising like it's a helicopter shot almost, zooms in through the walls all the way down several levels, goes into what looks to be like a big stout door with a open hole and some bars on it. It goes through those bars, and the thing we see immediately is a very large half-orc, huge build, hanging from chains that are keeps him mostly on the tips of his toes, doesn't quite let your heels hit the floor, and there's a bag over your head. The chain goes up to the ceiling through an iron hook, and then it looks like it goes down towards where the door is, and it can be there's like a little gear there to either let you down further or bring you higher, and it can be adjusted. And as that camera kind of pans around this dark, no light anywhere room, we see the chain rattle a second. We see like the arms maybe flex as they realize that they can move, and the consciousness of our hooded half-orc comes awake. The rattle of the chains alerts somebody on the outside of the door. We hear a key in the door. We hear a door open. You can't see anything rock. You're just hearing things, and you hear the thing kind of wind down, and you feel two enormous hands kind of grab your shoulders to just move you a step over, and it's like they're undoing you from something. You can't quite see what they're doing, and you can smell the breath and you can feel it breathing on you. This, whatever it is, it must be about 8 or 9 feet tall, and it definitely feels. I mean, the hand grips are nearly crushing you. You're currently at about 1 hit point on your character sheet, and you feel stripped of all other gear or equipment. You can tell that you've been, all the other stuff that you normally have on you has been removed. So then there's a pull of the chain on your hands, and it's like pulling you in a direction. You kind of stumble a second, and then you start walking forward as you start to come get it more lucent. And you're walking. You hear a door shut. You hear another couple of bodies that seem to be like feet or boots moving in a hallway. It goes on for you're not sure how long, and then you're brought into another area that seems a little bit colder than the one area you just came from that seemed warmer. And then you go through and you hear another door or two open, and then you hear the growl of a couple of dire wolves, and you see the bag is pulled off your head, and inside this chamber you see a large, I guess it would be a throne, but it's made out of like whatever kind of material they could gather, sits a giant, a clear giant, something you hadn't seen in this pyramid thus far. And it's sitting there with 2 dire wolves on either side. And as you kind of look from side to side, you can see that there's a Norker to your left, but there's like an ogre to your right. And he's the one that's got his hands on the chain right now, and the chain is on your, shackled to your hands. The giant stands up, and the giant is probably 13 or 14 feet tall. Rock would probably guess that this is most likely, I think I may, let me check because I want to be sure I did it right. Where's my game at here? There we go.
You want a roll for? No.
I think you would know. I just want to see what I set him as.
Please don't say storm giant.
Not a storm giant. Stone giant. So it has that kind of look of a stone giant. And then while sitting upon, lounging upon his throne, seems to be eating some type of, you would think, we would say turkey leg kind of thing, but it's obviously not a turkey, and whatever it was much bigger than a turkey at one point. But it's some type of prepared leg and flesh that has been cooked. And he's chewing on it as he sees you walk in. He kind of looks at you, and he stands up and he throws the bone to the dire wolves, and he beats his chest. And he says, "I'm Groog. Your puny man couldn't break through my home." And he kind of starts gloating a little bit in front of you as he kind of gestures to the big pyramid black walls. Now you're in what seems to be a big large hallway that has stone pillars, or these black pillars in it. It's obvious that he is kind of taken this over and built it his own. And he kind of walks almost a circle around you and says in a big gravelly kind of voice, "I should make you my cook. You killed my cooks." And he's walking around. "You're the only one strong enough to maybe join Groog. The other punies, they won't make it." And he's kind of makes a circle around you, and then he goes back to his chair, and he says, "Or maybe I should feed you to the wolves." And the wolves kind of growl and snap a little bit and drool. And the ogre kind of next to you kind of laughs a little bit. And he looks at you again, Rock, and he's like, "Maybe you join Groog. How about you join Strongest?" And he waits to see what you say.
Well, you biggest. Don't know about strongest.
And he just lets out a huge laugh. And he kind of stands up and he hoists like, he's got like in his area right around him, there's these big stones clearly for throwing at people, which stone giants are known for, and just picks it up with one hand, puts another one on. He's got two of them in his hand. Strongest. And he's like, you should join strongest best. And he's like, you could help me conquer that orc camp that we found recently.
Orc's no friend of mine.
Even better.
One of my companions.
Food for the dogs. That's all they're worth. They can't even pick up anything. They're not strong.
But they're clever.
Grug don't need clever. Grug needs strong.
Rock will look around and point to that Norker. Said, we thought just Norkers here. Didn't realize someone so big ran the place.
And he looks like, of course, puny grayskins, better than goblins. He says it as a sneer and as the word as if it's a slur of some sort. And he says, here, ogres, trolls, giants strong. Cunning, we have the dog faces. Grayskins, they do our dirty work. But they're stronger than goblins. And you do look at a Norker, as although it's short, is pretty stout and is pretty tough.
I still sneer at him.
Yeah, he likes that. You join Grug?
Rock's gonna shrug his shoulders. Hadn't thought much past tomorrow. Don't know.
He's like, all
Again,
right.
what of my friends? Can they go?
You have no friends? You with Grug. Grug's the only thing. Grug make you strong. You're with Grug, you get all that you want. Treasures, weapons, killing.
And what of the town?
We'll loot it.
Bastion has many men.
He laughs. Men are nothing to giants.
And the dragon?
You see a kind of a look pass over, and then he gets kind of angry, and he's like, they'll get theirs too. Giants no like dragons. Dragons meddle in giants. Business.
Rock will nod in agreement.
He's like, I'll let you think about it. And he says, take him back. And they he like starts dragging the chains, and the ogre kind of starts moving you. And so as you come out of the hallway, you recognize that you're in a great hall that has these pillars. Before you is another wall, but you can see some knoll guards sitting at the back of that wall for some reason. You're not quite sure. And they kind of turn you to the right as he drags you back. You've noticed that the Norkers forgot to put the hood back on you, so you're just kind of walking at this point. As you turn to the right, you see a hallway that also leads to the right, different from the one you just came from. And you see several doors on the left-hand side, and you see a door in front of you that it's obviously that you're going towards. As you get up to it, the Norker opens the door, the ogre goes in, and they drag you in and closes the door. As you go through that door, you notice a door on your right-hand side opens, and you get a quick glimpse of some Norkers that are in that room, and it seems to be like some type of storeroom of some sort. It's got a bunch of equipment and garbage in it as you walk by, and the Norker nods to one, and he goes through the door you just came from. And then in front of you, as the ogre kind of moves out of the way, and he kind of moves to the right and pulls you to the right, you see another hallway, and all along the wall is door after door after door, which looks to be like big solid doors for cells. And they bring you to the middle one, and they open the door up. He moves you in, and he hooks you to the wall this time, but they don't raise the chain up, though you're still hooked to. There's like a hook above your head, but now your feet are kind of flat. And the ogre just kind of disdainfully hooks it, shuts the door. You hear a little lock mechanism, and then you hear the ogre's feet kind of pad off further down the hallway at that point.
Can I test the chains without making too much noise?
As far as test them in what way?
Can I break a link?
You can try. You are pretty sure these are pretty stout chains, but it's possible. Nothing's impossible. So you could make this would be a pure strength check to just see if you can break the manacles apart by separating one of the things. Yeah. You can tell they're pretty solid. Not even a budge.
All right. He'll sit and stew.
All right. Now, it's probably 20 minutes goes by again. Now, this is like, you're not even sure what time it is. You don't know. You have no bearing. It is completely dark. There's no light. You hear the door lock again. You hear the door open, and you hear a Norker coming in, and he has like a bucket. And in the bucket, it looks like it's some scraps of food. And he's coming over to put it down.
I will take it and eat it.
Okay.
No mice, no nothing around?
No. Not that you've seen.
All right. He'll just be patient.
All right.
Try to get some strength back.
It's going to be hard chained to a wall. Let's see. So the next person to come awake is going to be Tristan and Eingar. You two are in the same cell. So you hear, this is about a little bit later on. You wake up with 1 hit point, and you each hear the rattle of chain next to you. You realize that your hands are over your head. Again, you're on your tippy toes at this point, and your arms are stretched up as if you're hanging from a chain almost. But you don't hear anything else. And you have bags over your head, so you can't see anything. Dry cotton mouth. You can feel blood from your wounds that's been dried up. Some of them may still be seeping. Some of it may still be some broken bones here or there, but you've come back awake from consciousness.
Are chains where it's one chain and our hands are bound together, or are they individually cuffed?
You can feel metal cuffs on each hand, and then something is raising it up, but you're not sure without seeing it. If you kind of feel around, you feel a chain right above the cuff, and you feel a chain right above the cuff, but you're not quite sure where it goes.
Okay, but our hands you can pull your hands together, right?
You can, yeah. They can. You can do this. You can go out a little bit.
All right. First thing I do is I pull myself up just a little bit and try to get the hood off my head.
Okay.
So if I use one hand to pull up, the other hand should be able to reach the hood when I get close enough.
Yeah. So let's do an athletics check for this, because you still are feeling like you've just...
I rolled it as a disadvantage.
Yeah, but the 28's good. Yeah, so you're able to do it. You have enough strength on your arm to do this one thing, but when you do it, you pull yourself up, your other hand's able to pull the hood off, and then you're out of strength. You're like, that was all you had for now. You're going to have to rest before you get anything back. But now you can look around. Now is pitch black in here. There is no light.
All right. So there's not even like outlines or shadows. It's just
No, this is
all right.
absence of light.
Okay. Then I'll ask who else is in here in common.
And I think Eingar, you would hear the voice and you would have heard the rattle of the chain as he was doing something next to you. The noise, you would maybe guess something is maybe 5 or 6 feet away from you.
Is that you, Tristan?
Yep.
It's me, Eingar.
All right.
Can I
It's
see
just
in
the
here with
two of
dark
us?
vision?
You have a bag on your head.
Oh,
So no, you don't see anything.
no, I can't then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
Alright.
voice is muffled.
I'll try and move my hands around, trying to grab it a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead and do an athletics check to see if you have enough strength to really do much. Yeah, I think you're able to get the bag off your head. It will nearly bring you to exhaustion to do it, but then you're able to take the bag off your head. And when you as you look around, everything is very dim light because it's pitch dark. There is no light in here. You can see just the vaguest outline of a door that's on the opposite wall away from you. You can see these chains that go up to the ceiling through iron rings, and they come down to the chains that are on your hands and the chains that are on Tristan's hand. And you recognize immediately that you and Tristan do not have any of your gear on you. Armor's been stripped off. You have clothes, but that's it. Like undergarments, and that's it.
Tristan, they took all our stuff.
It's just stuff. We can get more.
Okay. We'll have to get out of these chains, though.
Not to mention your weapons and my weapons were pretty messed up by the end of that fight.
We need new ones.
Short sword is still good, though.
True.
And then you hear the door to your cell reverberates. Rock, you'd probably hear this at one point too, as something slams into it enough that it makes it rattle, makes the hinges rattle, and you hear a deep, gravelly voice that says, "No talking," from something on the other side of the door.
I'm tempted to want to mess with it because it's probably an ogre.
And then it goes quiet.
All right. So at least now we know there's probably an ogre outside our door.
Yep. How far can we move in these chains? I'm going to rattle my chain instead of talking.
You're
Just to
on
make
your
noise.
tippy toes. So you've got very little movement unless you like swing your body where your feet aren't touching the ground, but then your shoulders start to burn as if they're about to pop out of socket. Your
I'll
wounds start to break apart where the blood and the bruising has already happened, and like whatever cracked rib you have makes it hard for you to breathe if you move too much.
I'll stop then.
Okay. Where is what was Albrix's D4 roll?
A 3.
You got a 3? Okay. So you're still unconscious at this point. Yeah, we'll let that go for now. Cedric's character, you can do a perception check for me.
Okay. $16.
Yeah, you were kind of dozed off at the moment when it happened, but when you heard a slam on the door, you heard the same ogre that you've seen before and has been in your cell before, so you kind of know of this ogre who has a very bad temperament. You hear him slam on the door, but it's not your door. It's clear that he's talking to somebody else, and that's different for you, as you thought you were probably the only one down here. but that's all
How
you would
long
know.
has it? How long has it been since I've been
Days.
in this place? Okay.
Yeah.
And it was the wall like immediately adjacent?
No,
or...
it sounded quite a bit further from where you are, but you heard
Okay.
because he hit it so hard. You heard it. It woke you up, and you heard him say the words.
Okay. I'm going to keep my eye out and see if I can get an idea of exactly where these other people might be.
Okay. Like as you're on the wall, you think the noise came from the left. That's about the direction you have. Your direction is in front of you, left and right, and behind you. That noise came from that way. Way that way.
Okay, I'm going to wait like a couple minutes until I think the jailer has perhaps relaxed a bit. And then I'm going to try and start knocking on the door with prestidigitation.
Okay. Now you do know that when you've made noise in the past, he comes in and beats you unconscious.
I'm going to stay nice and quiet.
Okay. All right, back to our chain rattlers.
You're getting beat like a drum.
Tristan and
I don't
Eingar.
suppose I can like hang here restfully.
No, it's painful to be awake. Everything hurts. You're surprised you're alive because you feel like you've been stabbed mortally many times. It's excruciating pain. But you're alive. You're breathing.
Well, I'm glad for that. I'm gonna hang here for a little bit and see what happens. I can't do a whole lot else.
Okay. I would say probably another 20 or so minutes goes by. We hear the lock on Rock's door again, and the Norker comes in to get the bucket, and he puts in place what seems to be like a clay, not a bowl, but it's probably their version of a cup, and it's got water in it, and he puts it down as he's going to grab the bucket that whether you finished or not. So he's like grabbing the bucket, and he's going to put the clay cup of water down.
It's a Norker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be patient. I'm gonna cast that spell if they're gonna take me out of the cell again. If I hear a big group of people coming.
Okay, so you just let him go, and he heads off then. All right, so probably an hour later or so, Albrix, you flutter awake with a bag over your head, chained to a wall. Your arms and shoulders are aching as if you've been here for a long time, but you are absolutely amazed that you weren't dead because you feel like you replay that moment in your mind of that killing blow that dropped you, which I don't even remember what was it. What was the final blow on you?
I don't know, man. There was so many. Like I went down a couple times.
Was it an ogre that brought you down? I think it was an ogre that brought you down.
Yeah, it was because I was backed up into that
room, right? Yeah. So you have a flashback of being hit, dropping to the ground, your head smacking against the cobble, the stone, not cobble, but the black stone floor, and now you're chained to a wall as far as you can tell, and there's a bag over your head so you can't see.
Takes a deep breath and tries to adjust myself. That clearly doesn't work. And will use my telekinesis to lift the bag off of my head as it crumples off to the side, unless it's tighter.
Well, let's do a con check. Let's see if your abilities are with you at the moment.
Oogie doogie. You want to save?
Yeah, do a con. No, I would just say a con. Well, that's probably the same bonus.
It's the same.
Yeah. So yeah, you're able to. It's not tied; it's just resting on your head, and so you use the telekinesis to lift it up off of your head.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see that you're in a cell. There's a door in front of you. You look to your right, and for the briefest moment, you think within about 4 or 5 feet of you is a fully standing up grizzly bear.
Is it alive?
Yeah. Like this is the moment where you look over, and within 5 feet of you is a fully extended in the air grizzly bear.
Okay. I am going to use my speech of the woods. And wrong one. That's not. Yeah, it is. I should be able to talk to. Yeah, I can talk to animals. There it is. Yeah, sorry. Beasts can understand my speech, and I can decipher their noise. So I'm going to communicate to it. How did you come to be down here?
Now that you've paused a moment and you've reacted quickly in this way, you notice that when it turns and looks at you, it only resembles a grizzly bear, but it is definitely not a bear. It is some humanoid in the shape of a bear. And it kind of turns its head at you. It looks for just a second, and then its head hangs back down again and ignores you.
Is it chained as well?
It is chained as well.
Did it act like it could understand me at all? So I spoke grizzly bear to.
You're not sure if it understood or not. It definitely gave you a look and then began to ignore you again. And as you look at it, you can see that it's a creature of humanoid shape. It's obviously something that's meant to be a bipedal creature. It's got 2 legs, 2 arms. It's meant to stand. It's not a 4-legged creature that just happens to be strung up. And it even has the markings on it that you in your mind you might think a bear man or something like that, or a bear humanoid, or a bear person. But you've never seen anything like this in the Sword Coast.
Or in the limbo.
Or in Limbo, yeah. You probably have seen other humanoid creatures that maybe resemble animals. So like you've seen a tabaxi, which is a cat that resembles a humanoid. So you've seen that. You've heard of werewolves or were creatures. Trying to think of what else might. You know of a loxodon. You've met an elephant who is also a bipedal creature. So you kind of know that somehow in this world those types of things can or do exist, though it's the first time you've seen it.
I'm going to try to speak Sylvan to same question. How is it you've come to be?
Yeah, and how loud are you speaking?
I'm not screaming, but it's kind of hushed, you know.
All right. Yeah, he seems to be ignoring you now.
All right. I'm gonna do this. I am gonna turn into a spider and drop out of my chains.
All right. So once again, let's go ahead and do a Constitution check.
Oh no.
No. So you try to do it, but you recognize that you're at one of the highest levels of exhaustion. You're at 1 hit point and just coming back from death's door. Your abilities have not quite come back, and you have like a searing headache as you try to do the shift and it doesn't work.
I will hang my head like the bear man.
Okay. All right. And just wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So all of you are kind of hanging from your chains, gathering your facilities. The one thing you're recognizing is that you're not going to get what would be typically called a rest while in this position. It's going to be hard at the moment until you heal some to do some of the things that you normally think you could do. But what are you guys waiting for? Or what are you going to do to stop waiting?
I would like to use my stone cunning to look at the stonework around where the chains are attached to the wall or the floor. See if there's any flaws. If I can see it, it might be too dark, but
yeah, it's
see if I can...
dim light, and the places where they fasten are quite a ways from you because it's up on the roof and then all the way down towards the door. And so you can see it above you, but you can't inspect it. You're not close enough to inspect it. You'd have to be up near the ceiling.
Okay. I think I'm gonna wait until maybe if they let us out of here, out of these manacles, or at least off the wall.
Okay.
Especially if they let Tristan and I off at the same time. Maybe there's a chance we can.
So you hang out unless somebody comes to your cell and then tries to move you from the cell. That's what okay. So that's what Eingar's. Tristan, do you have a plan, or are you doing the same thing?
Well, based on what you've mentioned so far, it doesn't sound like we have a lot of options. I mean, if removing a hood took every ounce of my strength, I don't see what I can do currently.
Okay.
I can't see because I don't have dark vision, and I don't have a dog to help me, so that's limiting.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I get to the point where I have enough strength to do what I need to do, I'll try to pull myself up the chain and see if I can't do something with that. But if I feel like I could climb the chain, then I'll try something. If I don't, then I'll wait.
Okay. I mean, you can make another save, and if you make the save, you feel like you can climb up. You've rested enough to get some strength back. Just think of it as being really exhausted. Yeah, I mean, you can climb the chain some. It's clear that it goes to the ceiling as you start you kind of clink up it, and you go up another one, and you go up another one. You can feel like you're several feet off the ground.
Right. So this thing is bound from the ceiling, but it's clearly going to have some other point to connect to, most likely. So I want to get up to the point where it's connected and try to figure out where that chain goes to.
Yeah, okay.
If it goes back to the ground at an angle, then I'll wrap my legs around that and try to see if I can't pull it out of the ceiling or something.
Yeah, so I think you get to the top, you make some noise, and then as you get there, you put your hand like as if you're going to grab chain again, but you kind of grab onto part chain and part an iron ring. So it's clear as you move your hand, and you're huffing and puffing to do this as you're holding on. You can feel that the chain goes through this iron ring, and then it does feel like it goes down somewhere away from you.
Okay, and it's not a hook; it's a ring.
It's a ring.
So there's no way to take it out. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to reach. You're holding on with one hand, and you're trying to reach around, but you're not sure. It definitely is. If you put your hand up, I think you would probably feel the smooth stone of the ceiling as the ring goes right to it, and there's just a small space.
Okay, so the ring's just connected somehow into the stone.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, then I'll relay that to Eingar. Sorry, I can never say that right. But I'll do it quietly so as not to make the ogre pissy.
Okay.
And then if I can, I'm gonna kind of maybe kick around a little bit to try to find where my chain goes. See if I can't touch it in the dark or something, and then wrap around that.
Let's do another athletics check as to see if your strength holds out as you're starting to whip your legs around now.
I'll kind of tell him which way the chain goes if I see
Yeah.
him swinging his
As you
legs
can
around.
see, yeah, you can see what he's trying to do, and he just doesn't have enough strength to get his legs up to where it is, because you see the angle of it, but he's kind of moving around and searching for it, but his hand can touch it, but his legs can't get wrapped around it. And then you can feel your strength's about to give out, Tom.
All right,
It's
then I'll
about
just
time
let
to.
myself back down
Okay,
to the ground.
yeah, you let yourself down and you're back to your tippy toes. And
All
it,
right.
it made some noise, but it was just chain noise, and that doesn't seem to have drawn any attention.
Okay. Then in that case, I will speak softly to Angar and then try to see if that's something he could do, or if he can see it. Does it look like if we got onto that other chain, can we reach wherever it's mounted to?
How far away from it is mounted? Is it mounted into the floor at the low end, or on the wall on the other side?
When you're looking at it, it goes straight up above your head through a ring, and then it goes at an angle down to where the door is, to the opposite wall from the one you're on. And they are both hooked on either side of the door. So you can tell that what somebody can do is they can walk in the door, they can unhook the chain, and that can either give you more chain, or they could pull more of it and just take you completely off your feet if they wanted to and hook it there. So that's hooked at the back of the room, or what would be the front of the room. If you guys consider yourself with your backs against the back, then at the front of the room there's some hooks where the chains are wrapped on.
Okay. So basically, it's just chain and a hook,
Yeah.
and then a ring with the chain through it.
So if I pull myself
I was
up there and get a leg under it and maybe get that chain going up and down, maybe I can get it off the hook.
Yeah, you think that if you are in some way, because that chain goes down and it's just hooked on, it's not like if somebody was messing with that chain, it could possibly slip off, but you're definitely also thinking you'll make a lot of noise doing that.
What if he was to climb up, use one hand to hold on to the ring, so it puts slack in the chain, and then feed the slack you have back through, and then whip it once like a towel?
Possible.
I'll try that.
You're gonna whip it?
I'm gonna whip it good.
We're gonna Devo our way out of here.
Best Halloween costume ever.
Devo is the true path to enlightenment.
Damn right.
All right, so let's start off with a athletics check for whoever's going to try to climb up their chain to the ceiling.
I'm going to try it.
All right, go ahead.
So I can see what I'm doing.
All right, so you seem to have gotten your breath back a little bit more. You start moving up the chain, you hand over hand, and then you get up to where the hook is, or the ring, and you're able to put your hand on the ring, and you're holding on to it. Now your strength is slowly ebbing at the moment, because what do you want to try next?
I'm going to pull what slack I can towards the through the ring away from myself to get more slack on the angle part.
Okay, so this one, so you're holding on, and you're just kind of letting some of the slack go down, and it starts to slowly go down. You can hear the clink, 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 clink of the chain, but it's not very loud. And you put a bunch of slack to the point where the chain kind of drops to the floor.
Yeah, I don't want too much because I want to be able to flip it up and try and flip it off the hook, but I need some.
Okay. Yeah, you think you've done that.
Okay. Now I'm going to grab the chain and just give it a real quick jerk up. And
all right, so let's do this all at once then. So let's do a strength saving throw, because what you're trying to do is hold your body weight, use your second hand to do a flipping motion of a chain, and not somehow let go or fall. All right, yeah. So you flip the chain. You see it kind of like you do with a hose. You're trying to get off a ring, or every now and then we all do that. We're just trying to flip something over. That's a big long line of rope or chain or whatever it is. And it pops off the hook.
All right, I will. I'm going to grab the chain that has come through the ring, so I can let myself down to the floor easily, gently.
Yeah, now you figured out the next problem. Because the chain is off the hook, there's nothing
holding
for
me
you
up.
to climb down on now.
Right.
Well,
so the
actually,
thing
there
that
is.
is on the other side of the ring is what I'm going to hang on to keep myself from
Right.
from falling.
Because you can put.
Oh,
You're still on
yeah.
the ring. He's holding onto the ring, so it just grabs the chain he released, and his hands are connected to the other chain, and he can let himself down slowly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I could see it. So, athletics check. You're trying to lower yourself down by holding the opposite chain side and let yourself. Yeah. I would say you're midway down and the chain slides through your hand, um, gashing it up a little bit, but you grab it again and you jerk to a halt and then you slowly get it down and you're sweating and there's blood on your palms. And by the time you finally get to the ground, your heels touch the ground. You're just like, you are spent. You almost like just either sit down or kneel down at this point because your energy and your strength that you've used to do this is just sapped you.
I'll take a minute to recoup my energy, and I'll whisper to Tristan that I made it. I'm down. Give me a minute to rest up.
Yeah, I'll just hang out.
I'll just hang here. All right. Anybody else in your cells? Is there any trigger you're waiting for at this point? Or are you just trying to rest, trying to get some of your energy back?
Have I heard any of the rest of this, or do I get any sense that there's more than just the one person in the cells that recently got yelled at?
Nope, you've heard the bang on the door, the ogre yelling at somebody, most likely. But you're not hearing any of the other stuff. You must be far enough away that you're not hearing it.
Okay, as soon as I hear any form of, like, sign that there might be multiple cells worth of people, I'm going to start trying to make contact. But until then, I'm going to stay put.
Okay. Alberix or Rock?
Rock's gonna stand up and go to the door. Can he get to the door on his chain?
No, he hooked the chain again, though not enough that you're like hanging up anymore. You're more like your hands are down, but you can move maybe up 5 paces, and then your hands would be going back up towards the ring.
All right.
But you
He's
have a little
gonna-
bit more room.
He hasn't heard anything from anybody at this point, so he's going to just yell, "Guards, Rock willing to work. Give up on Rula and Bastion."
All right.
He's gonna yell out loud.
So yeah, you immediately hear the lock in the door. You see the Norkers there, and he opens the door, and you see him. He's looking in your cell, and he looks to his right, and you hear the footsteps coming, and then you see the ogre kind of lean in, and he has to squeeze through the doorway. He grabs your chain, unhooks it from the ring, and then starts to drag it, and he starts taking you out of the room, and you go back down the hallway, and it looks like you're going back towards where you saw where Grug was.
So going to cook.
And
Rock not good cook.
yeah, he just keeps
Rock
dragging you as you go, and the Norker's kind of behind you at that point. So there's ogre in front of you, Norker behind you. So you go down the hallway that you already recognize. You hang a left again. You recognize that part. You go through a door. Now you're in the big area of the pyramid. On your left is a big hallway. In front of you are several pillars that lead into another room and hallway, and that's where you had seen Grug sitting. But they bring you over to the right this time, where you saw some of those gnolls standing guard over something, and you can tell now that there is a stairwell that goes down, and the ogre says something to them in what languages do you speak?
common, orc, goblin.
Okay, so yeah, he speaks in some language you don't recognize, and you see one of the gnolls go running down the stairs. You're there for maybe 10 minutes, and then that gnoll comes back up, and he chatters back something to the ogre, and the ogre says, kind of nods, and then they turn you around again. They drag you back to the door you just came out of. There was a door on your right where you saw some equipment. You see the Norker go in there. He grabs something. He comes back out. He gives you puts a spear in your hand. The ogre starts taking the manacles off of your wrists, and the Norker then says, "You will guard upstairs," and he starts to lead you down the hallway of the pyramid. You have a spear in your hand, and he's leading you down a hallway. You get to a set of stairs. The stairs go up to a platform, then they turn, they go up to a platform, and then you recognize you're in the main room of the pyramid.
Okay. You will stand a post, I guess.
Yeah, and then what you see up there, let me...
Dude, if you say it's all the creatures that we first encountered, I'm going to be mad.
Up there is standing guard is... Oh, I think I have it on the other map. Let me check the other map. I have it listed. Oh, yeah. So you see now 2 Norkers up by the front. You see 2 Norkers a little bit further back. And there appears to be 4 ogres sitting in the main room. And they all turn when you come up with the other Norker in tow. That Norker goes and talks to the other Norkers and says, "You're here to guard." They kind of point to the front area of the pyramid where you guys have come in near the barricade, and tells you to stand there and watch for intruders. And then that Norker that brought you up here goes back down the stairs and disappears.
I guess I'll wander up towards the front.
Yeah, so you have a Norker on your left, like you're in that hallway. You can see the net above you. You can see the barricade, and you're at the front entrance, and you're looking at that mountain that's across the way. And you can see down where if anybody were to try to come across the ridge and come down.
I need more food.
The Norker, the one next to you, just kind of sneers at you. Stands his post.
I'll sneer back at him.
Logan, let me see your sneer.
Let me see your
Pretty
war
good.
face. All
Picture
right.
a giant undertusk, though, coming up.
So you're just going to stand guard?
With 1 hit point, yes, I'm going to stand guard.
And your spear, like a wooden spear. All right.
Does it even have a pointy end of it, or is it just a stick?
Yeah, it's sharpened at the end. Crudely made.
All I
What more do
need.
you need than a pointy stick?
All right. Albrix, was there anything that any plans you had, or are you just kind of trying to regain your strength?
I would like to try to shapeshift again.
So you're going to wait long. So you probably think that if, you take a half hour, regain your, try to rest up, and then you could actually try again.
I'll do that and maybe try to. I'm going to try to talk to Bear in common.
Yeah. He notices, you see his ears twitch as you're talking. And at one point he looks over at you, and go ahead and give me an insight check.
All right, once.
Yeah, you can tell he's just annoyed that you keep trying to talk to him, but you're not sure if he's understanding the words, and he's definitely not talking back to you. I would say, as you're looking too, it seems like he's maybe been here longer than you for sure.
Don't worry, bear man. I will get you out. You will have your moment.
Do you think a Gith would call him a bear? Would he call him a bear Gith? Bear bad.
My furry friend. So yeah, I'm just gonna hold off. Albirix is pretty convinced that although I wonder if could I tickle him with my telekinesis? I'm just kidding. Let's not even entertain it because he'll probably break free and kill me.
He looks massive.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
All right. So we got guard duty going on. All right. So what does Eingar want to do?
Now that I've rested up a little bit, I'm going to get the chain out of the hook, out of the ring above me, and go over and unhook the chain for Tristan and
Okay.
help him down.
Yep. Tristan's now
Quietly,
unhooked.
as quietly as possible.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to lift it off of the hook. The tension is released, and Tristan, you're able to finally just kneel or sit down for the first time in an hour or so.
Do these manacles look like you need a key? Well, I guess I wouldn't know. It's dark. So.
Do these manacles look like they need a key?
Yeah, it looks like there's some mechanism that gets slotted into it to unhook them.
All right. Once Tristan gets rested up for a minute or two, I'm going to guide him over to where the door is. Is there a window in the door?
Yes.
Is there any light outside of it?
None. Absolutely
Okay.
zero.
I'll guide him over and say, this is the door where they come in and out of. But there's no light sources out there. Is it locked? I'm going to try lightly pulling it or whichever way it opens.
Yeah, you can tell that it is locked.
Okay.
Are the hinges on the inside or the outside?
You can tell you're in cells, so they are clearly, you don't
Outside.
see the hinges currently. And
Okay.
you can tell that this is definitely a cell.
Okay. If it had
Can
been
we-
a renovated building, they might have had
Right.
interior
Yep.
hinges. But...
Yep.
All right.
Can we-
The spike that the chain was hooked up to, can I
Mhm.
find that?
Yeah, there's two just L-shaped hooks of iron that are, and the chain would just get latched onto that.
Sure. Can I try to pull one out of the wall?
Sure. Go ahead and do this would be a athletics or just straight strength. Yeah, you're able to, it doesn't pull at first, but by twisting left and right and pull, twisting left and right and pull, twisting left and right, heaving on it a little bit, you finally, after maybe about a minute or two working it, you get it to pull off the wall. And it's
Okay.
basically a beat iron round stock L.
Okay. How long is it, roughly?
Maybe like this far. Maybe
So a
like,
dagger.
that much of it was in the wall. There's a little bit more of it, and then there's a part enough for a hook. So daggerish
Okay.
length, yeah. You could definitely
Cool.
use it as an improvised stick it into somebody thing.
Okay. And then, is it small enough we could use it to try to undo the manacles? Like you're saying,
No, it's
there's a
definitely
clear-
thicker
too
and wider. Yeah.
All right.
Can I try and feel around in the cell and see if there's anything else in here that's usable?
You can look around. It's clear that this was pretty empty. There's a lot of dust on the floor here. It looks like they put you in an unused cell of some sort. You would have expected more debris or more use, but you can tell that this must not have been used much. There's hardly
All right.
any footprints in the dust. There's just a few, obviously, from when they put you in here in the first place, but not enough tracks that this seems like it's a well-used cell.
Can he tell which way the door opens? like if there's dust and stuff that he can he see with the door shove the dust out of the way so we can see which side is the opening?
Yeah, it does not look like the door moves any dust into the room.
Okay. And we can't really tell which way it opens, like the left side or the right side?
Yeah. I mean, you're guessing that it opens out into the hallway because you're not seeing any disturbance on the floor, but you're not sure if it's the left or the right side. I mean, the handle's on the left side, but
okay. So one other thing I wanted to try. Now, since the chains are split so that there's cuffs on either hand, there means there's a joint somewhere, like a foot or two above where my hands are probably. Yep. I want to stand on where that joint is and try to snap the chain right where that is. So I only have one hand attached to the long chain and one hand's free.
Okay. Yep. This would be a strength athletics check to try to break a chain on the link. What did you actually roll? Yeah, it does not break.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to Tristan and say, hey, do we want to make noise and attract somebody over here and see if they will open our door? Well,
if we could, so my thoughts are, and I'm saying this in low volume, by the way,
yeah,
Lucian, in case you think we're being too loud, is that if we can, like, I'm going to give you the spike because you use a short sword anyway, and that gives you an improvised weapon similar to your weapon. My thought was to try to separate my hands and then wrap the one little bit of chain around that hand as like a punching thing and use the longer one as a whip. But the problem we have is that we still need the rest. Now, if we're down and not hanging off our tippy toes and we could be quiet for an hour, we could use that as a short rest, yes?
That seems logical.
All right. So I think we should be quiet and do our best to get an hour rest so we can use our hit point dice to try to boost our hit points back up. So we can take a hit or two.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right. So laying on the ground, resting on the ground, sitting on the wall, you are able to get an actual rest in, and an hour does go by. It doesn't seem like anybody comes to check on you. You've remained quiet, so you have the option to receive all of the benefits of a short rest.
Okay. Then I might use my remaining 3 hit dice of healing.
I am going to do that also.
Okay. Ooh, good roll.
All right. And that brings me back to 25 total.
Yeah, it's hit dice plus your con bonus.
Oh, then I have more than that. So I should have.
Indeed, you do.
Con bonus per die, right?
Yeah, each hit dice you roll, you get the con bonus back.
All right, so 31.
And then you regain half of your hit dice on a long rest.
Cool.
Can we hope for a long rest?
At this moment, you think you got nothing but time.
You want to try that, Tom? Or
sure.
Yeah, let's try going for a long rest. Maybe get spells back.
So you're gonna lay low for 8 hours?
Try to.
All right. So rest of the group, then that's a pretty long time. Let me give Cedric any time. Give me disadvantage, but a perception check to see if you heard rock go by the cell.
That is a nat 1.
No, yep. So I think you probably would have heard ogre footsteps, but you would not have recognized that there was anybody else with them. So nothing that triggered, oh wait, there's more people here. You know,
has anything really been happening to me in here other than the occasional walk in, throw food, punch you if you get lippy?
Yeah, that's what it's been so far. Is it's in the beginning, you're pretty sure that they stayed right outside your door, and then anytime you made even the slightest sound, they'd come in, beat you, no more noise, and they give you some food that has been really terrible and has made you sick most of the time, and they have given you some water to keep you a little bit hydrated. But again, you're also in this state of just a lot of exhaustion and sickness just because you're not getting regular food, you're not able to sleep while, chained to the thing, even though normally, you're getting fits of sleep, but not enough to be restful. And your body just aches all the time at the moment. Your wounds had not been healed. They've been left to just seal themselves up at this point. You just have like big scabs that have stopped bleeding at this point. Maybe even some of them are starting to fester a little bit. And you feel like, another few days and you're just going to die of exposure anyways. You're not feeling great.
Okay. And then real quick, so the sunbolts, do those make noise?
You get to decide. It's your ability.
I was thinking them kind of like St. Elmo's fire almost.
Okay.
So if that's the case, I'm going to try and basically like at some point when I don't hear any patrols moving by for a while, I'm going to try and lie back and basically start kicking blasts up at the ceiling where that bolt is, trying to basically break the bolt.
Okay. Is it a roll to hit attack with those?
Yeah, it just replaces my basic attack.
Yeah, so go ahead and do it at disadvantage. But you can make your attack roll. Yeah, we'll say some initial tries. You haven't been able to do it, but then you'll rest, and then you'll give it a shot again, a little bit later on as you kind of catch your breath, as you think of a different angle to try to do it from. Type thing, and we'll come back around. But at the moment, you've not been able to get a good solid hit on it.
Okay.
I mean, you feel confident that, maybe a couple, you'll eventually get it, but it's just going to take a little bit of time as you're trying to rest a little bit and trying to,
Yeah, I'll take a breather, and then every couple minutes, throw a shot up when I'm pretty sure no one's moving in the hallway.
All right. Alberix and are you going to hang for 8 hours? Do you have anything you want to try? You said you wanted to try to shift again at some point?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and give me a con check. Con saving throw. See if you
suck
can.
At those.
Yeah, 11. No, and I think you recognize the problem is that you're not able to rest very well because your shoulders just feel like they're about to pop out. It's giving you no relief. You're on your tippy toes and you're using your strength to stay on that, because if you let your heels touch down, then your shoulders feel like they're just going to come out of their sockets. You've been hanging so long. So you go back up on your tippy toes. You're using your strength to do kind of juggle between that, and you're just having a bad time of it.
Well, I've been hanging here a while, so I am going to use detect thought.
Cool.
On my grizzly friend.
All right. So do they get any? That's an actual spell. So let's look that up real quick. That's a cool one. Let's see what we get here. So for the duration, you can read the thoughts of a certain creatures. They have to be within 30 feet. Do they get any saving throw or not? It's concentration. I assume yours is not verbal, somatic, and material because you're doing it psionically.
Right.
Wow, yeah, I don't see anything that says they make any type of check. Okay. So you get some surface thoughts from the creature, and you recognize that it refers to himself. It's a he. he's referring to himself as like in that kind of identity. And the thoughts seem to be he's berating himself about being captured and how stupid it was that he was captured, and he should never have been captured. He should have died before being captured. And he just seems to kind of be going back in a circle on what he should have done that he didn't do, and how ashamed he is that what has happened to him, and now he's here and he's helpless, and it's his thoughts are bubbling up about this creature's not used to being helpless. This creature's not used to not being in control.
Can you understand me?
So as an action, you can either shift your attention to another creature's thought or attempt to probe deeper. Oh, there it is. If you probe deeper, the target must make a wisdom saving throw. So you got surface thoughts, or you can try to go deeper.
Well, so I've got his surface thoughts, and I want to speak and see what his thoughts are when I speak to see if he understands.
Okay. So let me give him a wisdom saving throw just to see his natural ability to resist those effects. Yeah, you're still only getting surface thoughts. You say something, and when he looks at you, the surface thought is, he's going to get himself killed. He better not get me killed. And it just kind of goes back to with his head kind of slumped forward. He appears to be worried that you're making noise. Making noise is bad.
All right. Well, detect thoughts doesn't allow me to communicate with him. It's not telepathy. But I am going to whisper. I speak Gith, planar common, druidic, elven, sylvan, and I can speak to all manner of animals.
Yeah, he is not considered a beast. He is considered a humanoid.
Hey. But I'm going to nod at him, kind of.
Do you have night vision, dark vision?
Oh, no.
All right. So, yeah, also realize you don't really see much.
Oh, I see like a dark blob and a not so. All right. All right. Well, I've tried to detect his thoughts. I don't have the energy. I will wait until I have the energy to shift out of this mess.
Okay. Rock, you're on guard duty. You're going to wait your couple hours to hang out?
I'll do a poor job and get as much rest as I can.
Yeah, leaning on the thing. So they only leave you up there for an hour or two, and then the Norker who's standing next to you kind of motions, and then you kind of turn and you see the Norker that's coming back up that had brought you up here, and he's like coming back. He waves you on because it doesn't seem like any of you share any type of common language at the moment, unless you have Goblin or Giant or any of that stuff. And then he takes you back down the stairs. Now he goes down. You guys had went down the right side stairs. He takes you down the left side stairs. You're in a hallway. You go down the long hallway. He brings you back to the cell. He opens it. He doesn't lock you up in chains or anything, but he puts you there at the cell. You keep the spear, and he brings you another bucket and some food. And then maybe you hear it lock. He's gone for maybe 10 minutes, and he comes back, and he just kind of throws like a bunch of hides on the floor for you. And then he locks the door again.
I will eat and rest.
Okay. All right, so let's go back over to our Our 8 hours or actually another hour go by. I would think that at this point, Albrix, you'd have another chance con save.
All right.
We're probably about 4 hours into this whole thing.
That
Now you feel your abilities seem to be back. You feel as you start to make the mental shift, you can feel your body begin to shift.
All right. And it's too bad I didn't have my detect thoughts up when this happened, but I'm gonna transform and just drop. I am
You're a what?
a spider.
All right. You are now a spider on the floor.
And I can see.
As long as that spider form can.
Yeah, I have blind sense, spidey sense, and dark vision.
Yeah. So you get a look at the cell. You get a look at the creature that we've already described at this point. 8 foot tall, big build. Size of a grizzly bear for sure.
Human face, grizzly face.
A softer bear face, more with eyes that seem more humanoid than animal.
Does
But
it look
still very
surprised
bear-like. Like anybody could easily mistake it as a bear.
Is he surprised that I just did that?
Hasn't noticed you yet.
That I'm gone. All right.
It's just hanging his head and either resting or just kind of not moving.
All right. I am going to. There's nothing in this room.
Him, you, and the chains, and then the door.
All right. I'm gonna go skitter underneath that door.
Oh, what size spider are you?
Little regular spider.
Okay, you're not like a wolf spider or a giant spider, or you're like
No. I'm like a try to escape spider.
Okay. So you climb up. You notice that the door does fit to the floor pretty well, but there is an opening up on the door. So you're able to climb up to the door. You're able to get to the opening, and there's just a big giant hallway out there.
Is there anybody out in this hallway?
Yeah, you see a ogre standing to your left as you're looking out the left of where your door is. And there seems to be a Norker quite a ways down to the right.
And there's doors.
Yeah, you see lots of doors in this hallway.
All right, I'm gonna climb up the wall so I'm above everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
And hang on. And I am going to try to crawl to the next door and see what's going on.
All right, let me go to my map so I can follow along. All right.
XP in this form.
Oh, I have people in the wrong spots here. It's more like a leash. And they're probably more like this. That one. Okay, so you can go to, so we'll just say your door you've just come out of. You can go left or right. There's the doors that go to your left. There are doors that go to your right. There's one straight across that has no opening in it.
I'll go to the one on my left.
All right. So you crawl over there, and that is where actually there's a Norker there. So the Norker and the Ogre are both to the left, sitting outside the doorway. As you crawl along the wall up towards the ceiling and you crawl down towards the hole, you see Rock eating some food.
Okay. So now I know where Rock is. And he's not chained up.
No, he's got a spear next to him, leaning against the wall. He's got a bucket of some type of food. It looks like a clay cup of water and maybe some animal hides that he's gathered together.
That dude snitched on us.
No chains, living the life.
All right. I'm going to go to the other one now.
Other one what?
The other door.
There's lots more doors that way, or there's doors going back down.
How about a door with a guard in front of it?
That's the one you're at now.
And that's where Rock is.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go to the next one.
Okay, so you just keep going that same way, that same
Yeah,
direction.
yeah. I want to try to find my other friends if I can.
All right, so you're up along the ceiling, you crawl, you get down to an opening, and you look into a dusty, empty cell.
All right. I'm gonna.
You're getting closer to the ogre.
All right. Avoid the ogre. Check out the next door.
All right, so you continue that way. You go along the wall, come down, and when you look in, you can see Tristan and Eingar appear to be either sitting or resting or laying down at the moment.
So I'm the only one who got chained up in here, huh? This is crap.
Attached to us.
If only a spider could talk.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little shitty about it. All right.
There's still, at that point, there's still 2 more doors going the same direction, but you're getting closer to where the ogre is just kind of, it doesn't look like he's paying much attention, but he's further down this hallway the way you're going.
Right. I'm going to keep heading to the spider. Or to the, I'm the spider, head to the ogre.
Okay, so
to the next door.
You go to a next cell. It seems to be empty. There's only one more door that has a cell window in it. When you get to you're at the end of the hallway, and this is where the ogre is just kind of hanging out in this end hallway. At the last cell door, when you look in, you see 2 what appear to be elves chained to a wall. Not moving.
Oh. All right.
Now, their cell door on the opposite wall from their door is a regular door that doesn't have a cell opening, and they're also at the very end of this hallway is a second door. So at the very end of the hallway, there's 2 normal doors on walls, and then there's the cell door, and then the hallway goes all the way back down, and there was many doors back down the other way.
Can I look into the doors, the regular doors as well?
No, they don't have any holes in them, and they seem to be fitted quite snugly to there doesn't seem to be seams to go through.
Okay. I'm going to head back down to the other hallway. I found my friends. Maybe I can find our... So I'd like to head down to the other end of the hallway and see if I can look and see if there's any more cells, and maybe I'll find our crap.
All right. So you pass back to where your cell is and where the bear person is, bear man. So this time you go further down, and you go into like a dusty, unused cell. You go another door, dusty, unused cell, and at the very bottom, or no, actually, there's an empty, dusty cell, and then there is a tiefling chained to a wall in a cell by itself. And in the very last cell, you see a dwarf chained to a wall.
Dude, they got all kinds of people here. All right.
Now at the end, you can see at the bottom part of this. So think of it as you went all the way up to the top. We'll call that the north side of it. Now you're all the way down to the south side of this hallway. All of the cell doors are on the west side wall. You've seen a door or two on the east side, but they don't have openings that you can fit through. And all the way down here at the southern end of the hallway, you see 2 more doors, but they're not cell doors. They're normal doors. And you're in an L-shaped part of the hallway.
There's no getting through those, right?
Not in your current form.
So in this hallway, there's 1 Norker, 1 Ogre.
Currently.
All right. I'm heading back to Rock. I'm going to go in Rock's cell.
Okay, you crawl into Rock's cell. Rock hates spiders. Rock smash spider.
Well, I knew that was happening.
No, I was kidding. No, so you kind of crawl into his. You bypass where the Norker is, and you're on a wall. You don't think he sees you as you get into his cell. I mean, he doesn't see you. You can tell he doesn't notice you.
Right.
Now you're at 1 hit point, and you've come back from death, so you pretty much have none of your spell slots. You have very few of any of your stuff, lots of exhaustion stuff. So this has taken a lot out of you to go and do all of this.
All right. I am. Well, shoot, I can only stay in this form for like another hour or something like. So I'm going to take a short rest for an hour in this room with Rock, and just chill out in spider form, and then if I can, and then I'm going to turn back into me. And
Okay.
interrogate the shit
I don't spot him for an hour.
I'm a spider, dude.
Yeah, spider in the dark on the wall.
Come on. If there's a spider the size of a softball in my room right now, I'd know it. And I'd kill.
All right, I'll give you a perception check as you're analyzing your room at some point.
You better not kill me.
What else am I going to do?
Yeah. So at some point you recognize there's a spider on the wall.
You fucking jerk.
And now I cast my spell.
Okay. Smash fist.
Yeah, we're having fun with this.
Yeah, speak with animal. Sure. I think it works.
He's going to immediately try to make friends with it.
Okay.
Hey, little friend.
What do you
How do I
communicate
know I can
back?
trust-
What do you do, Albrix?
What are you doing in here? This is my.
Trapped. I need aid.
I'm just messing with you. It's me.
Son of a bitch! I throw my.
Throw a shoe. Worst thing in the world is a talking
He
spider.
totally is just like, I'm just messing with you, and I'm totally disappointed that you betrayed us. There's a tiefling down the hall, some elves over here, a dwarf here, and Tristan and the dwarf are waiting to get out. Let's get out of here.
I'm too weak to get out.
And with that, he's gonna be like, "Bleh," turn back into it again.
And now you're gonna die when they come back into the cell.
Didn't think about that.
All right, so you guys get an hour's rest in. So you two would also, just like Tristan, and this is happening a little bit after the Tristan and Eingar have gotten their rest, but they haven't got the long rest. You guys, are able to take a short rest. Nobody seems to disturb you. So you get the benefits of whatever you would get back on a short rest.
All right. Oh shit! I didn't have any hit dice. I couldn't do that.
I had one.
I didn't have any listed, so I don't think I could do that.
Had you already used them? You guys might have did a short rest somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have any listed, so I'll stay at 1 hit point.
All
So
right.
could you communicate to me where the others were?
Oh, I totally did. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Rock, it's up to you, man. We got to get out of here, buddy.
I'm gonna whisper back to him in Spider before he changes into a naked Githyanki at my feet. That I will strike from behind. I will try to gain confidence.
There's an ogre out there too. Just so you know.
Thank you.
So you guys are kind of sitting there and you're whispering and you hear the rattle of keys. It's about to unlock.
I'm gonna turn into a giant wolf spider and scurry up the ceiling.
All right, so you're gonna use a shapeshift, second shapeshift.
That is all the shapeshifties I have.
All right, and wolf spider. Now you're climbed up on the wall. Where on the wall? You've got a cell, the door.
Like I'm up in the corner, and I'm gonna use.
You're gonna try to hide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and do a stealth roll. Oh yeah, spiders get good stealth rolls. All right, let's see. This is only he's not looking, so it would just be passive, which I think that's way better than his passive. But let me
Rock will
check.
continue to mutter to himself, make self useful. Be good. Be good servant.
Mr.
So he thinks they're talking to himself.
Mr. Norker. There you are. Passive perception is, survey says, he does not see the spider hidden up in the darkness. Yeah, so he comes in and now that you've had a rest, he's like bringing you back up to guard duty. So he's like kind of waving you on for guard duty. He looks bored.
Was I down there for an hour?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just grab my spear and trudge up, and I will try to hide the fact that I've got 14 hit.
I'm gonna try to scurry out of the room now with my stealthiness. Can I do that out of the top?
Let me see. So he stood in the doorway. He waved Rock on. Rock grabbed his spear and goes. So when he goes by, he just shuts that door and locks it.
So no.
So yeah, there wasn't enough time for you to get to the door.
All right, I'm just gonna kick it in wolf spider form. I guess.
Rocky starts taking you back down the hallway that you recognize now, out to a door, then another long hallway. It looks like he's going to lead you back up to the top of the pyramid.
Follow politely.
Okay.
And humbly.
All right, you're back up on guard duty at the front of the pyramid.
Did I see the ogre he was talking about outside my cell?
He's not outside your cell. He was from your door, would have been 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30-ish feet down the hallway away. It kind of looks at the Norker as you go by, but doesn't pay you any real attention.
Okay, I'll make myself small.
All right. So let's see. Let's shift some people around so that now you're at these places. Okay. Let's swing back around to Tristan and Eingar.
Okay.
I would say that was like 3 hours it went by, or 4-ish hours. That stuff kind of happens. Another 4-ish hours goes by, and people haven't really done anything. And you guys have had your long rest.
Excellent.
All right, got some spells.
All right. So now that I'm full strength, can I try to break that chain again like I was talking before?
Yeah, you can do an athletics check to try to break through the steel chain. It's tough.
Would using that spike help at all? Like trying to lever a link apart?
Yeah, you can try. I think that would help a little.
All right.
That's the roll I was looking for.
I'm not too worried about it, I guess.
Yeah. Like barehanded, you're going to have to roll a natural 20 to break it. I was going to give you like if you rolled on the dice, I don't care what your bonus was, but if you rolled an 18 or a 19, I was going to let you use the thing to break it off. But yeah, you found a weak point, you've severed it apart, and now you have a small bit of chain on one hand, and then the other hand is attached to the long chain. Or were you trying to break one chain off a manacle cuff? Or were you trying to break a cuff off? What were you doing
Trying to
with
break
three?
the chain at where they Y.
Yeah, okay, so
I
you've
hadn't
done
really
that.
thought of trying to break it at the cuff, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got a little chain and a long chain.
Yeah.
The long chain, I want to wrap some of it around my wrist and arm until what's left of it makes a reasonable whip.
Okay.
And that's going to be my improvised weapon, is using it as a whip.
Okay.
So the question I would have is that whips normally do 1d4, but they're not made out of metal chain. So would that still be reasonable or no?
Yeah, I mean, when it's improvised, it's still being used as something you're not used to trying to get the most effect out of. Like if you were proficient in using whip, then I think you would get a higher damage out of it. But it's not like you've ever used a whip to fight anybody before. So
right.
Even though it's doing 1 to 4, it's not because it's steel, it's because you just haven't used this to try to fight somebody.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure so I had it prepped.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
So we'll leave it improvised plus strength. So it'll be 1d4 plus whatever your strength bonus is.
All right. So quietly, I'm going to talk to Eingar. And since we managed to recruit our spells, right?
Yeah, you guys got a long rest.
Yep. So the spells I have in this case are Command, Cure Wounds, Shield of Faith, Heroism, Magic Weapon, Lesser Restoration, and Locate Object.
All the good
So
stuff.
my thought is we get the ogre to come into the cell and use command on him to grovel, fall down, whatever, and then lock the door behind him and leave him in here, and then try to find our friends. Or we could have him do that and kill him, or try to kill him. So
At any point in those 8 hours, did I manage to break that chain?
Oh, let's do a roll. Yeah. Let's do. You would have gotten a couple more rolls, so you can do a couple more. Let's do 3 more. Oh yeah. So
Get out of
good
there.
rolls. Look at that. Yeah, I would say you have broken the chain. You're not sure what timeline you're in compared to all of them, but at one point, describe the visual effect of the ability, not the chain part, but like what does this ability look like usually when you use it? Give us a description of it.
So I'm assuming you've watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. So think in the kind of the firebending ways where it's there at the end of various strikes and kicks. There's a kind of projection of energy, and there's this kind of slow flickering St. Elmo's fire that moves in a deceptively fast way. That kind of looks like it's slower and kind of more floating. That goes out and then slowly burns around the target as it hits.
Yeah. So we see the chain just start to light up, and each one makes it grow brighter and brighter. And we hear this pink, and as it drops, you definitely catch it, and there's like no noise from the chain. Like you've got the chain in your hand now. You've broken the circle that was holding it up onto the ceiling, and the chain now rests in your hand. Made no noise.
I'm going to spend some time doing the same thing to kind of break the links, kind of like to separate my hands and detach me from the chain.
Yeah.
And
now
then
make
sit
a
down
constitution.
and sit down and take a rest.
Yeah, make a constitution check to try to see if you can continue. So constitution saving throw. Yeah, so
11?
You used everything you could to do that, and you just try to even, and you're just like, you're exhausted.
Cool, then I will definitely take a short rest at some point.
Okay, yeah. All right. So you will get a short rest. So you can go ahead and do what you're going to do for a short rest. Now let's jump back to Prison Break plan Paladin.
I am going to whisper back to Tristan that I also have some cure wounds. I also have if we can get to my spell components, I have a pass without trace that I can put on all of us to sneak us out.
That's you. When he says that to you, Tom, there should be a moment of panic for you.
Okay.
As you typically will require a holy symbol.
Good point.
I believe, with most of your stuff. It may not be all of it, but I think most of it requires a holy
Oh.
symbol focus that you would have chosen at some point.
True. Let me check and see.
And what was your focus for your divinity?
Almost certainly would have been something to do with my armor, but
Okay. Yeah, because that is definitely you
yeah.
don't have at the moment.
Yep.
Check. I
'Cause in
mean,
the
some of
past-
those things should work, but just check on just to make sure you're using the right things.
Sure. In the past, I usually had like a symbol of my god on my armor for paladins, and I just had that be the focus of it.
Yeah, that makes
But-
sense.
I thought you had a sweet tattoo.
I would think lay on hands for sure would work. I wouldn't see any problem there. I'd be a little careful about the spells if they said something like verbal somatic material. I don't know if they do for the paladin spells or not.
Sure. So it does mention a focus, but it says you can use a holy symbol as a spell fact and focus. But I'll have to look into it a little more. It doesn't
Yeah.
say you have to. It
No
says you
problem.
can.
Yeah, I haven't played a paladin to know, so I'll trust you. Whatever you find.
I'm still looking. It makes sense to me. I would need something. I just figuring out what here.
All right. So Eingar. You guys
We are
have
inches away from
chains.
this freaking.
Yeah,
What's that?
you have chains and you have iron spike thing that you pulled from the wall.
I'm gonna try and break my chain, seeing how Tristan did it so easily.
Oh, okay. You're like, if he can do it, I can do it. Go ahead. You're gonna need a pretty high roll.
Strength?
Or
Or
athletics. Yep.
All right. Probably not
Die
enough.
roll of a 12. No.
Okay.
Nope. That chain is pretty strong.
Oh well.
You're-
I will.
You're impressed now that Tristan was able to bend it, though. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, I see.
I'll kind of drag this chain up with me and gather it up as much as I can, and I've got the spike ready to shank somebody.
Okay.
We just need to whisper with Tom. Should we make some noise and attract the guy? So we unlock the
yeah.
door?
I think what we might want to do is stand on either side of the door and just rattle our chains really loud. Maybe talk too much. See if he comes in. If we can
Okay.
get him to enter the room looking for us and then jump him, we might have a chance at him.
Okay.
I mean, you're a paladin. You could smite with a spork, dude.
Yeah. That was kind of my thought. What I was checking to see is if you can make new focuses. Like I know for mages, if you lose your focus for that, you can simply make another one, and it takes X amount of time. If that was the case, I could just make the short bit of chain into a focus. But I don't know how long it would take, and I'm not finding that quickly. I don't have my handbook here. I was looking online, and that's not quick.
Who's your guy?
Torm.
What's his symbol? Is it the hand?
I have no idea.
I think that is Storm's the
It's the hand.
The hand?
So
Yeah, it's like the Penamere symbol, I think.
start rattling some chains and bitching about having no food and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you hear like a grump sound. You hear feet smacking on the floor. You hear somebody rattling some a key into a thing, but having some trouble doing it. And then finally gets the door open, pushes the door open, and is like trying to squeeze its way in because it's bigger than the doorway. And it like gets about halfway in and then realizes, where are you guys at?
Can I try to whip the chain around him and choke him?
Sure. He's pretty surprised. You guys are going to get like a free surprise round because he was expected to see you against the wall, and you guys are not at that point.
All right. So that'd be a straight attack, I assume?
Yeah, so both of you can go ahead and... Well, so if you're going to try to wrap the chain around, you want to do a grapple with the chain. So
I was thinking like whipping the chain out and catching around his neck and trying to hold him by his neck with the chain.
Yeah, but that'd be a grapple.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you're going to do is a opposed check, because when the chain's going to go basically around. You're going to start trying to hold it, and he's going to try to reach and pull it off. And it's going to be, do you have a better grip than his grip?
Sure. And is that athletics?
Yeah, so you can choose to use your strength or athletics. He gets to use either his dexterity or athletics. I don't even think he has that, so I think he just uses his raw strength. So let me grab Mr. Ogre. So he will use his strength, just normal, no advantages, disadvantages. We'll let
As
the
an
dice
aside.
roll.
Nice. And then I tell Eingar that we need to kill this guy, like, now.
So he's trying to pull on the chain, and he's gurgling because you've got this chain wrapped around him, Jabba the Hutt style, and you're Princess Leia, and you're reefing on this thing. Yeah.
Has he injured him? Did he do any damage?
No, right now he's got him basically grappled so that he can't move, and he's more just you can tell that he's just trying to get his fingers under this chain. He's not really thinking of anything else. It's like, that's the only thing it's thinking about. You still get a free shot at this point for what you want to do, Eingar.
Okay.
F him up.
I'm checking something here real quick.
Actually, is the grapple one attack? And if Tom's got 2 attacks, can't he make an attack for his second action or do both attacks then? Grapple.
He could, but I'm letting him hold a chain and choke the guy. Or he can let go of the chain and try to just smack him.
I'm good with holding him there for the moment. I don't want him to get away, and I don't want him yelling. And if he can't yell because he's choking,
He's
and
choking.
he's stuck in a doorway, and Eingar can F him up with a couple of attacks, that'd be great.
Could he smite through the chain? Ghost Rider style? Come on.
Settle down.
That would be pretty epic.
Settle down, Rock. You could have raged. You could have hulked out at any point during this episode. You decided not to. Settle down.
I've got 0 rages left.
It sounds like excuses,
All right.
not solutions.
I'm gonna use a bonus action to whisper in his ear. I am marking you. I have marked you and put Hunter's mark on him.
All right, Hunter's mark is on the ogre.
And I am going to just shank him in under the ribs.
All right, so I'll give you first attack. He has advantage because it's coming out of surprise. He had no idea that it was about to happen.
Okay. I've got a weapon, a light hammer weapon. I'm going to use that. I'm assuming that
I would consider it like a
equivalent.
dagger. So if you have the dagger, or just drag a dagger to your character
grab
sheet
one.
from the thing,
Let me grab one here.
because that's what I would consider that iron spike.
Okay.
A crude piercing weapon.
There we go. Oh. Dang it. All right. Sorry, I got to do something here.
Yeah, no problem.
There we go. Now I can do it.
So, Lucian, would he take even 1 point of damage?
Not in the surprise round, but if you're able to continue, if you win again on a second one, then I'm gonna let you do some damage.
All right, here's the dagger.
Yep, 21 easily hits.
Excellent. So he also takes Hunter's mark. So it's 11 points.
All right.
And then I've got a second attack.
Yep. Get 2 attacks when you take the attack action.
And I only get Hunter's mark once, don't I?
You tell me.
No.
Every attack, anything
That's every
you damage.
attack. Okay. And here goes again.
14 hits.
Excellent.
He's super big, can't move, easy to hit.
And he also gets Colossus Slayer for damage.
So minus 18 total. All right, so 2 big gaping wounds in his side now. Bleeding out.
That's all of my turns. I already took my bonus
Is
action.
this all the surprise round?
This is the surprise round. Yep. So now what we're going to do is select. Actually, you guys could just roll. It's okay if you don't have tokens. I'll just write them in. Remove all turns. I'll just roll as long as you guys are better than him or not. Where's his at? His is here. The 12. So, yeah, Tom is up. So
Sweet.
you can maintain and with this, because on his turn, he's going to try to break free. So you have the grapple. You can try to move him. You can maintain it, just keep squeezing to hold him there. Or you can let go and do something. Those are the options I can think you would have. Or if you can think of something else.
Can you force him prone?
On a successful grapple, if he on the neck when he tries to make the check, if he wins a second time, then he can do it. But you have to. There has to be a second check. So what would you like to do?
How beat up is he?
I mean, those 2 hits hit hard. I mean, you can see blood pouring out of them.
Okay. I'm just gonna run up and punch him really hard with the 2 times, and then smite the crap out of him with each of those.
Okay, so you're gonna let go of the chain that's choking him, and you're gonna punch. All right, swing away.
You just gotta figure out where that would be. What's the damage on a punch? D4 or D2?
Unless you have something that gives you like brawler, it's 1 point of damage plus strength. I don't even think it's that. I think it's 1 point, but I'll give you the strength because you got the chains wrapped around your hands. Okay, 1 miss. That one hits for 6.
Yep, and I'm gonna smite him. So 19.
Okay, minus. Oof, almost down, but not quite. It's his turn now. Tries to cough, sees you, is just going to take a blind swipe at you. Is grabbing off his belt. Eingar, you get to go after him. He's going to grab off his belt, his club, and just make 1 swing at you. And he's kind of coughing a little bit from where the chain, you can see the marks around his neck where the chain had dug in. And he makes 1 attack at Tristan. Your armor class is probably like a 10.
12, but yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to get a hit off. So he's going to hit you for 19 bludgeoning, but that's his turn.
Okay.
Eingar's up.
All right. Daggers up into the kidneys and liver and stuff.
Yeah, he hasn't even seen you yet. Yep. 12 is a hit.
Okay.
Ogre keels over, falls to the ground, blood pouring out.
All right. Let's drag him into the cell real quick.
Yeah, he's in. He's in with you guys.
All right. Grab his keys. Anything that looks like any worth. Search him for weapons stuff.
The key is still not on him. It's on the door. You see the door slightly ajar still. Or the door's way ajar, not slightly ajar.
Okay. Does he have anything on him otherwise?
He has his club in his hand that falls off his hand when he falls. And it looks like he has a couple of javelins that are strapped to his back in some way. Crude looking
human
javelins.
Let's take him with us for rock.
He has the keys in the door. Do they have the keys to undo the cuffs?
Do you go up to the door in the hallway?
Yeah.
All right, so you...
Peer out.
Yep. Pitch black for Tristan. I should have remembered that, but that's okay.
Oh, but the door open. Ogres don't see in the dark, do they?
No, they do.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
Pitch dark. So all the other stuff could have happened because it was all right there. It wouldn't have been too hard for you to do the stuff. But yeah, you don't see anything.
Okay. Then I'll mention to Eingar
Yeah,
that he should look for the keys.
So Eingar goes up to the door. You kind of look down the hallway. To your left, it seems to be lots of doors, but you don't see anybody. To your right, you don't see anybody either, and there's a lot more doors to your right. But it looks like it's an empty hallway at the moment.
All right, I'll try and ease the keys out and get back in the room.
Okay, so
kind of pull the door shut a little bit, but not latching.
Okay, so the door's mostly shut. You have the keys in your hand. The rings look like it's keys to doors. And yeah, you find some, a little, it's not necessarily a key, but it's like a pin that pushes into a slot of the shackle and it lets the shackles let loose.
Unshackle both of us.
All right, unshackled.
All right. So since he's the only one who can see and I'm blind, he gets to be the one-eyed man.
Yeah.
Hold on
What's
to
the
his
hallway?
shoulder.
There's nobody in the hallway right now.
All right,
Right,
so
but
let's.
is it a bunch of doors?
Oh, yes, there's a bunch of doors.
Yeah, so I'm going to describe it for a while until everybody's in there because I don't want to reveal the entire map to everybody, and I can't move just one person over. I can move all or not. So you're looking out the door. To your left, you see 2 more doors along that wall. To your right, you're counting and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 doors all on the same wall. That's your cell. Probably can deduce that these are all cell doors. But you also notice.
Yep, you died there, Dan.
We still can't hear you.
Yeah, your sound kind of blurbed out and then went deaf.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you
As
guys.
Sasha, I can hear. I can't hear Lucian still.
Do you want to take a break, Dan?
I don't want to stop playing.
No, like potty break, and he can fix his stuff.
You promise we're not going to stop playing?
That's not really up to me, but I'd like.
You have a prison behind you, Tom.
I know. I changed it a while ago. Like, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes ago.
Everybody's hair looks really nice today, except for
Yes, the 3 hairs that are still here look great. Thanks.
I had vigorous activity earlier this evening.
Whoa!
Lucky guy.
Let's keep it PG here, Pelly.
How about
I
now?
did,
streaming.
didn't I?
There you go.
You can hear me?
He's back.
All right.
Yep, we
Sorry.
do.
Yeah, I want to push through because we're not going to play for too much longer. So we're almost done here.
I knew you were going to ruin it.
So there's 2 doors to your left. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doors to your right, all along the same wall that you're on. So you can deduce that those are cell doors. At the end of the hallway, you see a non-cell door all the way at the end to your left. And you see 2 normal doors there that don't have the openings like cell doors. So you don't think those are cell doors. Kitty corner from where you're at, across the hallway, is another door. It definitely does not look like a cell door. It looks like a normal door. And it looks like the hallway goes all the way down for a ways and looks like it might turn at the bottom there. No light anywhere.
Can we start with the 2 doors closest to us?
Yeah,
And
just
work
hold
our
on
way.
to my shoulder.
All right, I'll do that then.
All right, so you peek into, and actually you probably have to boost the dwarf up so he can actually see at that part. So you kind of grab him, pick him up. It's an empty cell is the first door on the left. And then when you get to the end of the hallway, you think you can hear some muffled voices coming from a non-cell door. And they sound like Norkers talking to each other. But when you look in the cell door that you walked up to quietly, you see 2 elves that you've never seen before chained to the wall, not moving.
All right. Well,
I see 2 elves. Let's go check the other doors.
okay.
So
Or
you,
get them free.
Well, finding our party first makes some sense. We don't know that everybody's an ally. I mean, eventually we should set them free if they're good guys, but find our people first.
I'm biting the first dwarf that comes through my.
all right, so you go past an empty cell. When you go back down, you pass your cell. You go back down, and then you look in another cell. Eingar, perception check. Alberic's, perception check. Oh,
Nice.
dang, Eingar. You see a spider hiding in up on the wall. Alberic's, you don't notice anything.
Do you tell me there's a spider in the corner?
There's a spider in there.
Kill it.
It's like a big wolf spider right now.
Just throw in some fire and let it burn.
All right.
Moving on.
Huh?
Are you moving on?
Let's move on.
All right,
Let's get
so
the
you go
spider.
to the very next cell. You look in there and you see what appears to be a enormous grizzly bear chained to the wall.
That's a little weird.
It's a big grizzly bear. Let's keep going. Check the next one.
You go past an empty cell. Looks like it hasn't been used. Empty cell. Or no. Then you see a tiefling, and as you look in, tiefling, go ahead and give me a perception check.
14.
You see a dwarven face kind of pop up in the window looking in your bars, and your eyes lock for a moment.
Well, hi. You're not creepy.
No, we're breaking out of this joint. I'm looking for my friends, and I'm keeping this low.
You got room for one more? I'm real tired of getting beaten to death.
Sure. Unlock the door.
All right, so you get the key.
Are there more doors beyond him?
There's one more past him.
Okay, unlock the door and
All right,
Oh, wait,
so you unlock the
go
door
ahead,
and
go
you
ahead and
realize
unlock
his
the mantle.
chains, his chains have been broken from the ceiling, but he's still cuffed, and you use a little piece and it unhooks the cuffs.
one copy.
She.
She,
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, stick with us. Stick close, and we'll go check the
Sure.
next floor.
Can
All right.
do.
Quick question, Lucian.
Yeah.
Is the tiefling, which I don't know is a tiefling yet because I'm blind, is it slightly injured? Is it weakened?
It's speaking
Do you
common,
need some
and
hit
you can
points
ask
to be
something.
able to move at a normal rate, or are you messed up like we were earlier?
She looks like she's taken a short rest recently and burned some hit dice.
Well, you notice he
What?
can't even see. Like, he's looking around like he's blind. And you, I think, as a tiefling, would notice that he's human and knows that he probably can't see in this darkness.
I'm gonna light up my thumb with a little bit of fire real quick and pop in. It's like, hi there, mistletoe. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so you
You
can
okay?
see, so you get a little bit of light, and immediately there's this devil demon face looking right at you, the paladin.
Yes.
Mike punch.
Best way to introduce yourself to a paladin. Middle of a prison break and a demon shows up. That's awesome.
So give us a facial.
No.
Give us the look. What do you actually look like when we get this little bit of fire? And this is the first thing you've been able to see, Tom, since this whole ordeal started.
So she's very slight of build. She looks like she's wearing what is this, like the equivalent of like a tweed like jacket in a fantasy setting. Like it's a like a light robe with, you know, like little elbow patches and little torn sections. Looks like every pencil pushing academic you've ever run into back on the Sword Coast. Kind of a muddy red skin, hooved feet, and then pure white hair and pure white eyes. Almost looks like she's blind, but there's a slight kind of elements of fire that kind of jump back and forth between parts of her hair as she moves. Every time she kind of moves quicker than normal.
Okay. So my main question is, who do you worship?
I'm what you
Cut to the
call,
chase.
well, I'm open to the concept, but I wouldn't call myself dedicated in any particular way.
Okay.
She's like, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual.
Pretty much. On her character sheet, her ideals are live, laugh, love.
All right. So how about this then? How about until we get out of this situation, we're just going to say you're provincially someone that's thinking about the possibility of joining up with Torb. How about that?
You know, I've always heard great things about him with the hammer. Good
Yep.
times.
All right, good. I can work with that. And
Can
let's
I
go to
hear
the
a
next one.
ruckus?
We'll go check the last cell.
All right.
Lucian, is there a ruckus to be heard?
Not really, because they're all trying not to get caught at this point. If you'd have rolled better on your perception check, I'd have let you in on it. You check the last cell and you see a dwarf chained to the wall.
I think we already got our dwarf.
Let's
They
let him out.
multiply.
Let's
Did you know that?
let everybody. We'll go through and open all the doors now.
Doing the party's bad luck.
All right, so
We'll get the dwarf out. We'll head back towards the elves.
so you put
Well,
the key in
and
the
the bear.
door.
We do have a small problem in the sense of like the player characters don't know that Alberix is alive. I mean, we don't because we never saw. We
Yeah, you don't.
died in sequence basically.
Mhm.
I was one of the last ones down. So as far as I know, you're all dead. So that's a problem to figure out how we're supposed to find them. And we don't know that Rock is alive either, for that matter. Because I think you were the last one down, weren't you? I was second last. So until he comes back, we don't know he's alive either. So building up a party out of the dwarf and maybe the elves makes some sense. The spider, you know, it can stay there. Spiders are not exactly party members. Evil arachnids.
So what's happening with the dwarf?
Okay, so you open the door. I was letting him finish. Yeah. So you open the
Yeah.
door, and the dwarf's head lifts up, and he sees you, and he sees a dwarf in the doorway, and you can see relief wash over him, and he's like, "How did you get in here? Let me free. Help me out."
Hush! Be quiet.
Yeah, and he's and he kind of recognizes it, and he gets really quiet. He looks like he's been here for a while. Also, been beaten heavily, emaciated, has not been getting enough nutrition and food. Definitely looks worse for the wear, but a mountain dwarf. But someone you don't recognize, but you might think maybe you've seen him around Port Bastion, Eingar. Because it's not that you know all dwarves, but you've recognized that there's a certain stands on 2 feet, has hands, has eyes that look like they have intelligence behind it, and its head looks up as it sees you at the door, and it kind of has just this weird kind of eyebrow shift of like, huh, I didn't expect to see a dwarf looking in the window type thing.
Let's open the door and unman it.
Get mauled.
Yeah, so you see him there, and he looks, and when he's held up also by the chain that's up to the ceiling. Definitely big and powerful. No armor or anything on currently.
We'll unhook it from the hook by the door to let him down a little bit.
Yeah,
Ask him if he wants to let go, if he wants out.
He doesn't. Do an insight check for me.
Okay.
And the dwarf whispers to Tristan, "We should just go. Why are we wasting time?" You recognize that he's not understanding your language. You see him roll his shoulders as if he's trying to get the. Oh, really?
I can hear him.
Oh, you can hear me?
Logan, can you hear me?
All right, I'll keep going while he figures this out.
Never mind.
And he kind of rolls his shoulders as if you can tell they've been sore for a while. And he moves slowly. Your insight realizes he's trying not to threaten you. He's a little defensive, but he's not. He's being very careful to not make threatening moves at you. But he can't understand your words. You realize that right away.
I'm gonna hold my hands up and kind of indicate that all of us are getting out.
All right. So
You see him shake his
Eingar,
head.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you what's going on and what you're looking at, since I can't see it.
There's a big bear-like humanoid in front of us.
All right. And he's
like
on
9
our
feet
side?
tall or something.
All right.
He doesn't understand what we're saying, so we can't really talk directly to him. But he knows we're getting out now.
All right. Then I'm going to pop him for 5 points of healing from a lay on hands, just to show we're friendly.
All right, so Eingar, you would see him tense and flinch when Tristan reaches out for him. Tristan lays his hand on him, and Tristan, you feel the fur of, in your mind, what a bear would feel like, just like Eingar has described. And the creature underneath it, you can feel the muscles are coiled, like it's ready to just rip into you. It has claws on its hand, and then it feels the healing power. Nothing, and it feels better about that, and it releases the tension, and you can hear it give a kind of a gruff noise, just a hroom, and you give him 5 points.
Yep.
All right, get him all unmanacled and stuff, and we'll go to the next cell to open it.
If he can't understand us, but he can kind of understand body language, do the shush thing, just so he knows to be quiet. And honestly, why don't we're getting quite the group. Let's bring everybody in this room for a minute, and we'll go get the 2 elves, and then we'll organize from here instead of in the hallway.
Okay.
All right, so the dwarf walks in, and he looks at his eyes are like saucer shaped when he sees the bear. The bear's looking at him. How do you mime this? What you want him to do? You want him to stay?
Yeah, I'm gonna point to all of them and kind of say, "Stay here."
Okay, is
we'll
one of you going, or are you and Tristan going to get the elves?
How about if I go myself?
Sure.
Okay, so Tristan stays in the room. You
Watch
see
it
kind of the
drop.
bear look at Tristan, looks at the dwarf. He's watching your miming hands, and then he kind of gives you a nod, and then you kind of trot off down the hallway.
And I'll open each of the doors to make sure we didn't miss anybody.
All right, so you're opening doors. There's a bunch of empty cells. There's the one with the wolf spider on the ceiling. Now, at this point, Albrix, go ahead and give me a, with advantage, perception check. There's enough going on that you most likely, unless the dice gods are mean to you. So,
And you've got 8 eyes.
12?
yeah, I'll say you see.
I mean, they opened the
Eingar.
door, right?
Yeah, you see Eingar at the door.
I would have opened the door and kind of poked my head in to look around.
Yeah, but at this point, Eingar probably still doesn't see you.
All right.
But you see him peeking in.
Transform back into a slender loincloth clad.
Yeah, so you drop into the floor, and then Eingar, you're about to shut the door when you notice the form drop, and you see him, and you look back, and you're like, you see Alberix in front of you.
Alberix, is that you?
Indeed.
I thought you were dead.
Rock. Sadly, it is not my time to go. I wish it had, though. Rock is above.
I'll go in and drop a Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. Is that one you can cast without your stuff?
Yes.
Cool.
I only need, I believe it's just, I do not need materials.
Yeah, so just verbal and semantic.
Yeah.
Perfect. Roll it away. I'm going to grab...
There you go. 9 for you.
While he's doing that, our tiefling is in with the dwarf, notices the human who can't see, and you're also in a room with a big bear at this point too. Are you doing anything, Cedric?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and say hello to the giant, creepy, terrifying bear, mostly to make it not want to eat me. I'm gonna try and say hello in Celestial.
Okay. Does not respond.
And I'll quickly pop through Abyssal and Infernal just on the off chance.
Yeah. You can tell it's listening and it's trying, and then it says something too, but it's in a language you don't recognize. And Tristan, you're hearing this, and the dwarf next to you has been staying quiet, staying out of the conversation.
Okay, I'm going to start with my Adept Linguist, which I know takes like 24 hours, but I'm basically going to start going through the process of like trying to listen for verbs, primary sounds, things like that, and I'm at least trying to pick up on his name.
Okay, so we'll leave you guys there, and Eingar and Albrix, what do you do from your cell?
I'm gonna, let's see, he's not manacled or anything. I'm gonna tell him that I'm going down here. There's a couple of elves in this one, and we have Tristan down in the next cell to the right, or a couple down to the right. If you want to go down there, or you can come with me and we'll get these elves out.
And Albrix can't see either, right? Now.
Oh.
So you notice him kind of reaching out and is having a hard time seeing where you're at. His eyes move to where your voice is, but you can tell he's not seeing you.
I'll have him put your hand on my shoulder and follow me, and we'll go get the elves.
Rock has made them believe that he is one of them. He is above us. They will probably return with him from wherever he came.
So we could probably wait for him before we leave and overpower?
We need light. We need light.
Okay. Let's go get the elves. And then we can get back with everybody else.
I'll follow.
Okay.
All right, so we open the door, and as the door swings open, you see two heads kind of move up, and they look severely beaten. Like the other people look beaten. It looks like the ogre has taken a personal pleasure in pounding these two elves continuously as if they're mortal enemies in some way. And they can barely move or even talk. When you get over to them and you unhook the chains, it's like they can't even really move. They're more like crawling on the ground or just barely holding themselves up.
I can do a cure wounds on one for each of them.
Okay. Go ahead.
One.
So
Two.
one gets 8 and the other one gets 3. It's a male and a female elf. They are the elves of the type that you recognize that are from this land. They are not the type of elf that are from the Sword Coast. They speak to you just briefly, say thank you, and give their names as Tim and Kieni. And
Is
they
Tim a
whisper it to
sorcerer?
you.
I got that.
Yeah, I figured you'd catch it. I wasn't sure if Lucian would get it, but given he's not replying, I think he did.
No relation.
All right, I'll tell them that we're meeting up with everybody else over here, and then we're going to get out of here.
All right, they're just, yeah, they, even though they're healed, which will allow them to move, you can tell they have many levels of exhaustion that are affecting them. They're very weak at this point, though they have hit points now to maneuver.
Okay. Let's get everybody together.
All right, it's a super tight fit to have all these people in a cell. These cells are 10 by 10s, so you have a ton of people packed into one cell at the moment, cramming in on each other's personal space. And it's like you have this big gathering of loincloth, underclothed, massively beaten, bruised people that you've gathered together.
All right. we need to go find our stuff.
We
And
do,
need to,
but
and
we also need.
Albert said Rock was here somewhere.
Yeah, we need to close all the cell doors too.
Okay.
Because
Rock
we don't want
is
to leave
about-
all of them open. One person walks in, they'll know we left in an instant.
I can do that. I can go lock up. And I'll head off and start closing doors.
Yep. And there was a room you said, Lucian, that had some I forget what they're called now. Drugers? No. Not Drugers.
Norcus!
Norkers. Yeah.
Eingar and Alberix thought they heard Norkers talking somewhere up in the hallway.
All right. I assume Eingar's going to relay all that from freeing the
Yes.
elves.
Yes. Relay the elves' names. Relay where we heard the Norkers. There's other doors here that are not cells, so maybe some of those have our stuff behind them. But let's.
There's only one way to find out, but I can't see.
Well, hopefully they'll have some light sources in there too, if there's our stuff is there.
Albirix cursed the person who made him without a light.
Hey, do you know when Rock might be coming back?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's go down towards hey you guys, let's go down towards the
Does a
Well, we
tiefling
heard
have
the-
dark vision?
What?
Before we go anywhere, I can cast Locate Object.
oh, cool.
So, well, at least I think I can. I need to actually look at that real quick.
Can a tiefling have dark vision?
Yeah, I have dark vision.
Okay, cool. So really, it's Tom and Alberix that can't see. The elves can see. The dwarves can see. The bear man can see, and the tiefling can see.
So I chose one of two races that can't see in the dark.
Yeah, so
Pretty
it
much.
looks like all I have to do is find a twig, a forked twig, to do the Locate Object. So we can come across basically even a piece of wood at all, like in a fireplace or something. I can do it.
Okay.
Should we try to bum rush the tieflings? Or not tieflings, sorry.
The Norkers.
Yeah, let's bum rush the tiefling.
Get
Whoa,
the
Yeah.
tiefling.
whoa!
Acrobatics check to run the fuck away.
The
Yeah.
the Norkers.
Yeah, let's go try taking them out.
All right.
So the elves kind of look at you worried, like you're like, well, we don't have any weapons, they say. And then the dwarf is like, yeah, why don't we just run out of here? The bear man doesn't know what anybody's saying.
Well, the easy answer to that to the dwarf is that there's one way in and one way out. So we didn't win. So they pretty clearly are going to have people guarding the entrance again. So you won't run out.
Oh, and he looks at you like, you didn't fight your way in here? You didn't.
Oh, we did, and we lost. There's still people left in here that aren't the good guys.
He looks disheveled. He was hoping that you guys had beat your way in. Now he's realizing now you were prisoners.
When he looks down and sees the red tunic on his chest, he'll know what his role is and all.
Yep.
So just to be clear, there's no way we could like talk our way out of this.
The time for talk is done. Now it
I
is
mean,
time.
have you tried? Have you tried? Because violence is rarely the first step.
I think we already are on step 5.
I'll trust you, mostly because I really don't want you to leave me here when you leave. So that's good.
I can't see a bit, so there you have it.
Let,
Eingar, you're in charge. Go.
Yep.
Yep.
We're gonna go down here where we heard the Norkers. Are there any non-cell doors between us and them?
There is, when you come out of the cell that you've all gathered in, obviously you see 12-ish cell doors on your left. When you're looking up to where you thought the Norkers were, you see a door on your right that's not a cell door. And then at the end of the hallway, you see 2 doors that are not cell doors.
Let's try that one on the right.
Okay, you're going to open it.
Gently open it a crack to kind of peek in.
Yeah, as you look in, and let's put everybody out here with you.
You get stabbed in the eye.
You lock eyes with Mr. Ogre. It sees you open the door, and you're opening the door, and it's looking at you, and it just has this weird surprised look on its face as it sees you in the doorway.
Is there anything else in there?
I think everybody's together now, so here's what I'm going
lost
to
you, Dan.
do. Yep, give me a sec. Reveal. So I'm going to reveal some areas. I'm going to move you guys over. I'm going to fix a token or two. This is... What's his name? And I'm fixing Cedric's. Give me one sec. There you go. Cedric should be able to see now. Everybody else, you can see what I've opened up. So Albrix and Tristan pretend you don't see stuff as I reveal this. And now, this room. All right. Mr. Ogre's in the room. There.
I'm going to shut the door.
Token layer. Okay, door shut.
And tell everybody else, hey, there might be an ogre coming through here in just a second.
Yeah, you hear it slam into the door.
Okay.
And it's pulling, so you make a strength check.
Nope, I'm going to let him pull it open.
Okay, yeah, he wrenches it open.
Because I want him to come out here where everybody else can hit him.
Which one of you is using the great club?
I think Tristan still had it.
Okay.
All right, so everybody besides Rock, select your token and roll initiative as there's an ogre at the door. Mm-hmm. All right. Let me grab some other people here. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to set this up. We're going to get it ready, and that's where we're going to end tonight's session, as we're already about to hit 11:30 here, and we would just barely be able to get into this battle. So what I'll do is I'll put them in the... Let me put the rest of these people where they need to be. And... All right, do I got everybody? All right. So when we come back next week, we have successfully broken out of the cells, or actually, will play next Monday now that we're actually out of the part that I wanted to be out of. Even though we might be missing Pelennor for next week, but we can play through that. We will have one of our elf rangers. We'll go first. We'll have our bear man, then Tristan, another elf ranger, then the ogre is going to attempt to do something, and then the rest of our party. And then we'll see what happens with everybody in the Black Pyramid, as we now have a huge prisoner break going on, and they've got the numbers, so we'll see. As long as the dice go their way, they should be fine, and we'll see how this goes. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. I know Danimal was in watching the whole time, so it was really good to have them. Cedric, thank you for joining our game on Monday nights now. You're going to get to play with us, which is cool.
My pleasure.
And we didn't get to hear the name of your character yet. I'm going to assume you introduced yourself. What was the name of your character?
Oh, Mistletoe.
Yeah, Mistletoe, the tiefling. At this point, we don't know what class she is, but I'm sure we'll find out when she makes her first move in the first turn. It'll be abundantly clear what she can do and is, and we'll let that all happen. So I'm glad everybody came. I'm glad we got there. Sorry for the few technical issues as my mic went in and out, but I think we got it. And we'll be back into full-on pyramid diving, dungeon diving when we come back. So if you missed anything, check it out on the VODs. Other than that, everybody say bye.
See you guys.
Bye.